Well, you've had plenty of high-pressure games in your latest stint, moving over to Incheon United in the K-League, signing a 6-month deal to start with, and then you've extended it a further 12 months. Tell us about how that opportunity to go to Korea came about.
It was pretty. It happened all pretty quick. I was having my agent Tony Rellis sent me a message saying to stay by your phone, and then 15-20 minutes later called me back and said, this guy's new, and another 20 minutes later a contract offer to come through. So it was really just as fast as that, and I was on a plane, I think, not the next day, the day after that. 2 days later I was on a plane. So it did happen really, really quickly and randomly like that. But in the end, and then I was there. They were obviously middle of the season, so I'd gone from just having dinner here and then pretty much a week and a half later starting my first game over there. So
it was Josh just mentioned it was a bit of an interesting season. You ended up making about 13 appearances, I think it was, in the back half of the season, played over 1,000 minutes, so obviously congratulations for that. The last day of the season was a little bit tense if you were to avoid a relegation playoff.
Yeah, so obviously something I'm not used to, being from Australia. We don't have anything like that here. But
let's not go into that one just yet.
So like I said, exactly like what I said. It was missing that challenge, missing that pressure, and it was nice to go into a situation where it really was high pressure, and sort of every game we weren't a team that was sort of floating in the middle and not playing for anything, and we weren't a team at the bottom of the league like you can be in the A-League, and you're 6-7 weeks out from the season, you can't make finals, so you're just playing for nothing really at the back end of the year. We weren't in those kinds of positions. We were in a position where literally every week was a kind of situation where we need at least a point or a win, and we need to be on sort of every day, every week. So, and then the last few games we were quite good, and the very last game was we ended up putting ourselves in a position where we pretty much just needed a draw, and we had gone into that game saying don't go for the draw, let's go for the win. Because obviously it's pretty difficult to play for a draw once you start playing like that. It's a bit risky, but we went in there with the mindset we want to win, and then it sort of got to maybe 70 minutes, and we started thinking, let's just hold on to the 0-0. Yeah. And it was tense the last 20 minutes. And we had chances, they had chances, and in the end finished 0-0, and it was a nice little celebrations in the change rooms after, and a big relief off the shoulders of everyone, I guess.
So you've had a couple of weeks since the season's ended. How do you look back on that 6 months from a personal perspective? And I guess the second part is, what feedback did the club give you? Because I'm very mindful that there's quite a few Australians that have gone to Korea, and predominantly centre-backs, to be honest, which you're not. So how do those two things work? Your reflections, but also the club's feedback?
They have I think maybe even more so over there than here. They appreciate your work ethic, and that's something that I've never been shy of. So as soon as I went there, everyone was so nice to me. They're such nice people, and welcoming and everything. So it was quite easy to settle in, even though in a footballing sense it's quite different. But I had all the help from Tony, my agent, and an agent over there named Seun, and the strength conditioning coach, who was a Brazilian guy who spoke English, and the other foreigners and stuff, and even the Koreans. Everyone was really helpful to help me sort of settle in and that. So I enjoyed my time, but from a personal perspective, looking back on it. Definitely things I still need to work on, and I've been working hard over these last 2 weeks that I've been back, and I'll continue to do so the next 2 weeks. So definitely, as soon as I finished, had one eye on on the start of the year straight away. So I guess I'm, like I said, I had that year off and I had that big refresh. So I don't need too much at a time where a lot of people might need a week, 2 weeks of doing nothing. I feel like I've accumulated, I feel like I've used up a lot of mine for a good time. So I came back here and I just wanted to think about the next season and switch off for a couple of days, but then just sort of start getting back into the gym and working hard. So that's what I've been doing.
I'm sure the club would be thrilled to hear that if they're listening in. When does the season actually resume? Is it sort of March timeframe?
Yeah, it's around March. I don't know the exact first date, but we go back. We've got a long pre-season, so almost the same length as an A-League pre-season. We go back January 5th.
I'm going to call you on that, Rashid. I don't think there's such thing as a pre-season longer than the A-League, is there?
Yeah, yeah, it's true. But to be honest, I think we've got 2.5 months, so we're not far off.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think we go back, first January 6th. So I'll head off from here January 4th. And then we go to Thailand for a 4-week pre-season. And then, season doesn't start till March time. So still got quite a bit of time to get everyone ready and get it sorted.
What's life like in Korea, in the part of Korea where you play? I mean, I understand you were sort of parachuted in halfway through a relegation-threatened season, so you probably didn't have too much time to sample the local culture. But what has your experience been so far?
The life. I mean, I think Seoul's one of the, from seeing it this time, I think one of the best cities in the world. Crazy place, and just people everywhere, lots of things going on, lots of great fashion and that. So I'm about an hour to an hour and a half out of Seoul, obviously in a city named Incheon, which is a much more sort of like business district, a lot quieter, a lot calmer. So for me, I mean, my day pretty much consists of going to training and then coming home, doing my studies for about an hour or two, and then just chilling out, talking to people on the phone. I live by myself, so I don't really do too much except for every now and then. If we get a couple of days off, I might drive into Seoul or have a look around, go to the art galleries, those kinds of things. But yeah, it's a bit of a distance, and if you get traffic, it's a bit of a bother. So I pretty much just stick to myself in my little apartment and just hang out.
So not too many open mic nights with the guitar or anything in Seoul?
No, not yet anyway.
Well, we'll see how that goes.